Wyoming, Senator John Barrasso.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm being joined on the stage by a number of members of the House of Representatives, many of whom are physicians. And we're so delighted to be with you today to talk about something that's very important to all of us, and that, of course, is health care. As an orthopedic surgeon, I can tell you that health care and people's health is very personal. And as a result of the Obama health care law, people feel that they have been told things that were not true. People have been told their premiums would drop. They told they could keep their doctor. You've heard all of the broken promises. People need a better way, and that is why we are here. There is a better way than Obamacare. People know what they want. They want the care they need from a doctor that they choose at lower costs. That is essentially impossible with Obamacare. We have a program in this country passed only by Democrats that is costly, that is complicated, and ladies and gentlemen, it is now collapsing. And all you need to do is turn to the Philadelphia newspaper today or any headline around the country. Here we go. Philadelphia Inquirer today. Obamacare enrollment, fewer choices, higher prices as sign-up time opens. Today. Sign-up time started today. And in Pennsylvania, the rates are up, approved by the insurance commissioner, 46%. So the headlines in Pennsylvania talk about hefty increases, bombshell prices, all of the things that people are being hit with. And if you go to the Obamacare exchange today in southeast Pennsylvania, the so-called marketplace has only one choice. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a marketplace that the president promised. This is a monopoly. And what does Hillary Clinton say about this? Her solution is more Obamacare. What does Bill Clinton say about this? Craziest thing I ever saw. What do Hillary's advisors have to say? The solution is more Obamacare. Can you believe it? This is what they said last week on television. Higher penalties for people under the mandate. Make them buy it. Raise taxes, bail out the insurance companies. That is their solution. Pay hospitals and doctors less when doctors don't want to take care of patients on Obamacare anyway. So that's what the advisors say. Look, let me just say this. What we know is that for people who believe that government is the answer, this is their solution. But I believe what Ronald Reagan believes, which is government isn't the solution, government is the problem. Republicans are here today with solutions and relief. Relief for those that have been harmed by the president's health care law, and solutions that will help people get the care they need from a doctor they choose at lower cost, because they are patient-based solutions based on freedom, flexibility, choice of individuals. And I will tell you, if Hillary Clinton is president of the United States, we will never get there. And that's why all of us are here today with you. And I'm so delighted to be joined by another physician who will introduce other members of the House, but he is a Republican House member from Georgia, Dr. Tom Price.
Thanks, John. Thank you. Thank you so much. Are we ready to beat Hillary Clinton and make Donald Trump president? My name's Tom Price. I represent the 6th District of Georgia, which is northern suburban Atlanta. And as John said, I'm also an orthopedic surgeon. So you're getting the surgeons out of the way first here. But we've got some docs here and nurses and other members of the Doc Caucus in the House of Representatives here to tell you that you are so pivotal and vital to this victory that's going to occur in this state and in this nation in 7 days. And that's because the American people understand what's going on. So many folks across this land are opening up their envelopes today in the mail, and they see that their premiums have gone up 25%, 65%. In Arizona, it's 116% on average. Folks, this is lunacy. This is lunacy. This is what happens when you put the government in charge. The things that we all believe about health care, we want a system that's affordable for everybody, that's accessible for everybody, that's of the highest quality and provides choices for patients. All of those things have been destroyed by Obamacare, which is why we need Donald Trump and Mike Pence to work with us and make certain we put in place a real health solution. And that solution exists. That solution exists. We've been working on that solution for years, literally, and we're so excited by the enthusiasm and the message that Donald Trump and Mike Pence have brought to the stage about health care. And I'm joined, as I said, by a number of my colleagues, another physician in the House of Representatives who's going to help make certain that we take back this country to make America great again, Mike Burgess from the great state of Texas.
Well, I do love Texas, but you know what? I love Pennsylvania too, and I really love suburban Philadelphia because you guys are what are going to make it happen. You see, collected on the stage here, a number of members of Congress, many of us have expertise, time and service. We are chomping at the bit to develop the policy that will then go down to the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue and be signed into law by President Trump that will end Obamacare once and for all. Many of us watched in horror in 2009 and 2010 as no Republicans were consulted and this thing was rammed through. Remember, Rahm Emanuel said, never let a good crisis go to waste. Well, they certainly didn't. But the result is they gave us a new crisis, and that crisis is called Obamacare. Texas, the number of insurers have dropped, have dwindled. That's no choice at all. There are plenty of things that could be in place and could be in place in a very short period of time. Look, 20 years ago, Newt Gingrich gave us a new market-based tool that now is known as the health savings account. Donald Trump has embraced health savings accounts. I'm a believer in health savings accounts. I had one for 20 years. That is market power delivered to the patient to participate in their decisions and make the right choices for them and their family. Obamacare completely collapses that and says, you don't know enough, so we're going to tell you what you have to buy, and oh, by the way, we're going to tell you have to buy it. Hillary Clinton wants to double down on that. And just stop and think for a minute. She wants more money in the subsidies. When did more federal money going into anything ever result in a cheaper price to the consumer? Think housing, think education. It never works out the way they tell you it will. America's ready for a change. I'm ready to step up and make that change happen. I hope you are too. I hope you're talking to your family and your neighbors because you all are critical to make this happen. God bless you and make America great again. And surgeons couldn't work without an anesthesiologist, so we're happy to welcome to the podium Andy Harris from Maryland.
Hi, thank you very much. My district is actually just across the Mason-Dixon line south of York. It also includes the beautiful Eastern Shore of Maryland. And I guess Maryland is luckier because our rate increase is only 25%. That's unbelievable. But it's worse than that. I have a rural district, and the co-op, which Obamacare funded, gave $20 million loan to, they're about to go out of business, leaving my constituents on the Eastern Shore of Maryland with one choice: That's not a choice. We were told famously, if you like your doctor, you keep your doctor. Not true. You like your plan, you keep your plan. Well, there's only one in parts of my district now. And don't worry, if you're a family, your premiums are going to go down $2,500. None of it true. This is unbelievable what's going on. I'm going to be in the operating room tomorrow. I'm tired of hearing patients complain about what they've got to do. I'm tired of hearing my fellow physicians complaining about what Obamacare and what the federal government, through its control of the healthcare system, is doing to them. Those of you who are seniors know out there how hard it is to find a doctor who will take care of a Medicare patient now. You know it. It's going to get worse. The only solution is Trump Pence.
There you go.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce my colleague from the House of Representatives, Congresswoman Renee Elmers from North Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wait a minute. I don't believe this. I don't believe this for a minute. I'm looking out in this audience across this room, and I'm seeing plenty of women. What is up? Whoa! No! No! This is not what they tell us is happening. Amazing, amazing. Well, I am from North Carolina. My district is the 2nd district. I represent everywhere from the Raleigh area to the Cary area down to Fort Bragg and Fayetteville, North Carolina, where we take care of our veterans and our military families. I'm a nurse. I'm not a politician. I ran for office. While these guys back here were all fighting to keep Obamacare from affecting you, I ended up running because it ended up going forward because of Barack Obama and all the Democrats that were in Congress at the time. We've got to defeat this. You know, President Obama said recently that, we got to keep this thing going because it's like a house. It's like a starter home. Well, you know what? If it's a house, it's an outhouse. It is not the house. No, bless your heart. Bless your heart, President Obama. That's not the house we want to live in. And I will tell you, we need to defeat this thing. In North Carolina, our prices are going up 25 to 40%. We now have only one insurer in 96 of our 100 counties. That's single payer system if I've ever heard it. And yes, Hillary Clinton only wants to make it worse. Even if you don't have an Obamacare plan, you're being affected by Obamacare. How many of you have been to the doctor recently and you felt like the person taking care of you, the nurse, the doctor, the other healthcare, was at a computer with their face in the computer longer than taking care of you? That's Obamacare. That's the effect of Obamacare. So we are all here to support Donald Trump and Mike Pence because we know they are the answer and they are going to make America healthy again. No. At this time, I would like to introduce to you another fine doctor from the House of Representatives, Mr. Scott DeJarlais from the great state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Renee. It's great to have our nurse up on stage. Tennessee has been hit especially hard. We're looking at 65% premium increases next year. How many out there have seen their deductibles go down? How many have seen their premiums go down? That's what the president told you. I got a message for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Obamacare is going to fail, period. Right? So it's so important right now. We're fired up, and we should be, because we got two great speakers and candidates coming up in Mr. Trump and Mr. Pence. But honestly, we're at a crossroads in healthcare. When I ran in 2010, we ran on the message that Obamacare was going to be a funnel into socialized medicine, and boy, were we right. So it's time to change this, and I can't think of a better audience to get our message out in a better place than Pennsylvania. We need you so bad. Pennsylvania's got to come out for Trump and Pence, and we're excited for it to be here, and we're excited to be here with you. We have a great member of the House of Representatives that unfortunately is retiring this year. We're going to miss her dearly, but we're so glad she's up here tonight, or today. She's a great inspiration to all of us. Representative Cynthia Lummis from the great state of Wyoming.
Like so many of you, I'm a healthcare consumer, and I'm on Obamacare. And like so many of you, in fact, 4 out of 5 Americans during the last 8 years have had zero economic growth in their personal lives. How many of you can relate to that? Zero economic growth in your personal life, your family. And yet Obamacare continues to eat away at our pocketbooks. And think about the people that are going to enroll today, that are going to see these 25, 46, 116% increases. After 8 years of their pocketbooks seeing no change, when Americans don't participate, when they are not needed, when the government tells the American people, this is how you're going to live your life, this is how you're going to choose your doctor, Americans get angry. Don't get angry, get Trump, Pence, get Trump, Pence.
Let me thank you all so much for coming out today. We've got a great opportunity in 7 days. You ready? Trump, 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 Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage former presidential candidate and world-renowned neurosurgeon, Dr. Ben Carson.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Absolutely delighted to be back here in Pennsylvania, so close to Baltimore, where I spent 36 years. And being involved in healthcare is like the greatest thing that anybody can possibly do. You know, and I operated on 15,000 people, and I got to see my patients all over the place. It was the best thing about campaigning, quite frankly. One place I went, there were 10 patients. I said, let's have clinic. But you know, one statuesque, beautiful young woman walked up to my wife, and she said, "Are you Mrs. Carson?" She said, "Your husband operated on me when I was still in my mother's womb." And now she's a beautiful young lady, and I'll tell you, that's why no one will ever convince me that what is in a woman's womb is a meaningless bunch of cells. You know, these are important people. But, you know, today, you know, the theme is on health care. And, you know, Donald Trump and Mike Pence have some incredible ideals that we've been talking about. You're going to hear more and more about those things. There are thousands of physicians and healthcare workers who are working on fine-tuning. We have some terrific plans because remember, healthcare and healthcare insurance was to keep people from losing the farm. It wasn't to take care of every pill that they needed. And so we're going to bring the power back to the people and to the healthcare providers, and not the silly stuff. And in Indiana, you know, Governor Pence has done some wonderful things with healthcare and basically with the economy in general. And what we're getting with Trump and Pence is somebody who has experience as a governor, who has been in the House of Representatives, knows how the government works, and somebody who knows how the real world works. You know, last week, remember Hillary was criticizing Donald Trump for being at the opening of his hotel? You know why she was so critical? Because it was done ahead of schedule and under budget. They don't understand those words in Washington, D.C. And with Mike Pence and with Donald Trump, you're going to get used to those words. We will learn what those mean in Washington, and the deadwood, the people in the swamp, they will learn what the word "you're fired" means. So, without further ado, I want to bring out a good friend and a true Christian and a person who loves America, has done enormous service for us, and will do great service for us in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the next Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence.
Hello, Pennsylvania. Such an honor to be with you today, and particularly great to be with one of the great leaders in the United States of America, a man with a moral foundation and a vision for a health care future in America like no other, Dr. Ben Carson. Thank you, Ben. It's great to be here with all of you and with so many distinguished former colleagues from my years in Congress. And thank you all for coming today. It's wonderful to be back in Pennsylvania, just a short way outside of Valley Forge. A turning point in the Revolutionary War, where Americans first showed the resilience and determination to launch this experiment in freedom that has been the marvel of the world. I must say, I appreciate Dr. Carson's introduction, but he knows me well enough to know the introduction I prefer is a little bit shorter. I'm a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican, in that order. And it's humbling for me to think that it was a little more than 3 months ago, with my wife Karen at my side, that I accepted my party's nomination to run and serve as the next Vice President of the United States of America. And I have to tell you, I joined this campaign in a heartbeat, because you have nominated a man for president who never quits, who never backs down. He is a fighter. He is a winner. And until not too long ago, it seemed like he was out there fighting all on his own. But now this movement is coming together. Pennsylvania is coming together. And we're going to make Donald Trump the next president of the United States of America. And Donald Trump has a plan. The man who wrote The Art of the Deal has got a deal for the American people. We call it the contract with the American voter. Working with Congress, we're going to get this economy growing again. We're going to create 25 million new jobs in the next 10 years with time-honored conservative principles. We're going to lower taxes across the board, reform our tax system. We're going to have trade deals that work for the American worker, and we're going to roll back the avalanche of red tape coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to end the war on American energy once and for all. We're going to invest in America's future, and we're going to bring real choice to education so every child in America has a chance at a world-class education. We're going to secure our borders, end illegal immigration once and for all. We're going to rebuild our military, take care of our veterans, and bring law and order back to every community in the land. But most importantly for today, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. You know, I'm very humbled. I'm very humbled that Donald Trump asked me to serve in this role, and I'm very humbled that he gave me the privilege of addressing this issue with you today and to playing a role in our future administration in bringing about that goal that you just so warmly received. Now, some of you may know that before becoming governor of the state of Indiana, I spent 12 years in the Congress of the United States. I often tell people that if I only had 12 years left to live, I'd want to live it as a member of Congress, because that was the longest 12 years of my life. I mean, it can be a frustrating place, especially back in 2009 and 2010. I was actually the leader of the House Republican Conference, helping to lead the fight with my fellow Republicans against the so-called Affordable Care Act. Now, I said then, we all said then, what's proven to be true, that when you when you order every American to have government-approved health insurance, whether they want it or need it, when you create a government-run plan paid for with job-killing tax increases, that is plain and simple a government takeover of health care. Republicans knew it for what it was. We called it out. And that's the reason why I'm proud to say not one single Republican in the House or Senate voted for Obamacare. Every single one opposed it. And I'm also proud. I'm also proud that since 2010, Republicans in Congress have been united and continued to work each and every day to replace Obamacare with free market health care solutions that will work for the American people. You know, good things happen. Good things happen when Americans stand together and when members of my party stand together on Capitol Hill. So I want to say to every American, as you head to the voting booth in just 1 week, know this. We have an opportunity to bring real change to Washington, D.C. The momentum is on our side. The latest polls have Donald Trump leading nationwide in the race for President of the United States. Democrats and independents are joining this movement. Republicans across the country are coming home. Across the spectrum, Americans know that Obamacare has got to be repealed and replaced, and that only by electing Donald Trump as the next president of the United States and re-electing strong Republican majorities in the Congress will we get it done. And we will get it done. I stand before you today because today open enrollment begins on the Obamacare exchanges. And once again, millions of Americans are going to be disappointed by their lack of options. And frankly, they're going to be shocked by the high premiums and the cost of health insurance. This government takeover of health care that we call Obamacare is failing in states across America, as it is here in Pennsylvania. And the case has never been stronger for repeal. It's important to remember, as we talk about it as Obamacare, that Hillary Clinton actually said a little bit earlier this year, and I'm quoting, quote, "Before it was called Obamacare, it was called Hillary Care." You remember the promises that President Obama and Hillary Clinton made just a few years back? Remember they said that the cost of your health premiums would go down. Not true. Remember they said, if you like your doctor, you can keep? Not true. They said, if you like your health insurance plan, you can keep it. Not true. The truth is, premiums for employer plans have gone up by almost $5,000 since President Obama took office. And last week, the Obama administration announced, and this is almost breathtaking to think about it, the Obama administration itself announced that the average premiums under Obamacare exchanges are going to go up 25% on average across this country. But that average hides the specific states where families are about to be pummeled with unprecedented sticker shock. For a 27-year-old buying an Obamacare plan, Arizona's premiums are going up by 116%. Tennessee is going to go up 63%. Minnesota, 59%. Alabama, 58%. And in North Carolina, they're going to go up by 40%. American wages haven't gone up in the last 15 years by any appreciable amount, and yet we're going to see the cost of our own health insurance, the health care of our families, rise dramatically in the next year. Right here in Pennsylvania, that number is a whopping 53% increase for next year, and a total increase of 69% when you add in last year's rate hike. Our paychecks haven't gone up by that amount, but the cost of your health care here in Pennsylvania is. And most heartbreaking of all, in Pennsylvania, almost 110,000 households will see their rates spike drastically with absolutely no help from the government. Now, I remember back in the days in Congress, the very day this bill passed. You remember, Doc? Nancy Pelosi went to the floor of the Congress and said, quote, We have to pass the bill so we can find out what's in it. Well, we found out, and it's even worse than we thought. I mean, what good is a health care plan if you can't afford to use it? With its increasing costs and high deductibles, most people are paying for something they can't afford to use. 50% of Obamacare customers are now skipping medical visits to cut costs. Think about that. Americans are putting their personal health second because Obamacare's skyrocketing costs are too high and too burdensome. Obamacare truly is also it's a crushing weight on the American people, but it's also a crushing weight on the American economy. I mean, even former President Bill Clinton said, costs are going up, coverage is going down, it's the craziest thing in the world. I guess even with the Clintons, sometimes truth happens. But you know what? Don't be deceived by Bill Clinton's newfound skepticism. I mean, Hillary Clinton's plan is actually to introduce what's called single payer into the system, more government-run health insurance. She actually went to Canada and gave a speech that came out not too long ago. She told Canadians and business groups that she wanted to get, and I'm quoting, universal health care coverage like you have here in Canada. Well, we don't want the socialized health care they have in Canada. We want American solutions. I got to tell you, though, my favorite quote came from President Obama just about a week ago. Down in Florida, he was celebrating the 3rd anniversary of the rollout of Obamacare. And in his, did you hear about this? In his speech, he actually compared Obamacare to the Samsung Galaxy 7 phones that spontaneously burst into flames. I'm serious. President Obama said, quote, here's the quote, quote, when one of these companies comes out with a new smartphone that has a few bugs, what do? They fix it. They upgrade it. Unless it catches fire, then they pull it off the market. Well, what a coincidence, Mr. President, because that's exactly what we're going to do with Obamacare. We're going to pull it off the market so it stops burning up our wallets. You know, it's remarkable when you think about it. Almost 20% of Americans eligible for Obamacare will have only one exchange insurer available this year. One plan is not a choice, it's a monopoly. At least 1.4 million Americans are about to lose their plan in 2017. And that's after millions already lost their plans in the first years of Obamacare. This means that too many people won't be able to continue to see their doctor. It's going to interrupt treatment and care. And part of the reason costs went up is because Obamacare dictates that Americans buy a government-designed health insurance plan. We knew that when they passed this bill, laden with expensive and oftentimes very unnecessary benefits. I mean, no wonder that the young and the healthy don't want to buy these plans. I mean, the coverage is expensive. The plans have huge deductibles that people can't afford. I mean, the average deductible for the so-called cheapest category of family plans this year is almost $12,000. That's more than 1/5 of the median household income in the United States. What's worse is that many of our best doctors have opted out of seeing patients with exchange coverage. It's true. But it's also true that Obamacare is killing jobs, and it's destroying small business growth all across the United States of America. It's not only impacting individuals, it's impacting our economy. Obamacare's employer mandates and new taxes have been destructive to the economy, killing jobs and reducing wages and growth. Obamacare actually, in and of itself, imposed more than $1 trillion in new taxes on healthcare providers, taxpayers, and businesses to pay for all these failed policies. It's reduced pay for workers and small businesses and reduced employment by more than 350,000 jobs nationwide. It is an extraordinary record of economic failure. Obamacare's employer mandate raised the minimum cost of hiring a full-time worker to $10.30 an hour for larger employers without increasing take-home pay for anybody. State and local officials have conceded that Obamacare forced municipal governments to cut hours for part-time employees. You know, it's time to end this government takeover of health care and start over with American solutions. For all these reasons and more, when Donald Trump becomes president of the United States of America and we re-elect strong Republican majorities in Congress, we're going to repeal Obamacare, lock, stock, and barrel. Donald Trump's got a plan. We're going to replace Obamacare with health care reform that lowers the cost of health insurance without growing the size of government. We're going to reform health insurance in America with the power of the free market. That's the American way that we meet our health care needs and how we meet a boundless American future. The Trump health care plan will make health care more affordable, put people back in the driver's seat of their health care, not the government. We'll get rid of the individual mandate, because government shouldn't tell you how to spend your money and put priorities in your life. Donald Trump will allow people to purchase health insurance across state lines, just like you can your car insurance and your life insurance. We're going to create a transition period for those receiving subsidies to ensure that Americans don't face disruption or hardship in their coverage while we pull this albatross off the back of the American economy. And we're going to make it easier, working with newly re-elected majorities in Congress, for Americans to open health savings accounts they can use to pay first dollar expenses for their health. You know, I'm kind of proud to say the idea of a tax-free account to pay for medical expenses was actually pioneered back in Indiana. Health savings accounts, if you're not familiar with them, basically allow you to control your health care dollars. Pick your doctors and your treatments that work the best for you without interference from insurance or government bureaucrats. Instead of giving subsidies to big insurance companies, the way Obamacare does, Donald Trump will push health savings accounts that will provide assistance directly to the American people through their health savings accounts. You know, the truth of the matter is, there's an old saying that, you know, when everybody in your house is healthy, you can have a lot of problems. But when one person is sick, you only got one problem. Well, we can relate to that. Health savings accounts will empower families to meet their health care needs. And they can pick the insurance plan that works best for them and their family and gives them the peace of mind that if someone in their household is sick or has a major medical problem, they'll have coverage and they'll have the treatment that they need and deserve. And when it comes to Medicaid, you know, Medicaid started back in 1965 as a health insurance program for the poor. 50 years later, frankly, Medicaid's not only broke, it's broken. And Obamacare has put the majority of new people receiving coverage into a broken Medicaid system. You know, back in the Hoosier State, we actually said no thanks to expanding traditional Medicaid. And we fought for almost 2 years to make coverage more widely available the right way with consumer-driven health care and health savings accounts. And it's working. We call it the Healthy Indiana Plan. I promise you, when Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, we're going to work with newly re-elected majorities in Congress, and we're going to block grant Medicaid to the states and allow states in America to innovate with consumer-driven, market-driven proposals to meet the health care needs of our most vulnerable people. It's an idea Congress has talked about for years, block granting Medicaid back to the states, allow our states to be those laboratories of innovation that they've always been throughout our history. States know what's best for their people, and Donald Trump will give new freedom and new flexibility to the people of Pennsylvania to innovate and reform and design programs that will meet the needs of the people of this state and every state. And healthcare costs will also come down when people have more control and also know more about what their healthcare costs are. And when Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, we're going to empower Americans with not only greater control over their healthcare choices, but we'll also empower them with more information about the cost and quality of care in their hometown. Today, frankly, people have very little transparency into the cost and quality of their care. It's frankly easier to compare prices when you're buying a car or buying a television than when you're trying to decide which hospital or doctor to use. Donald Trump's going to fix that. When Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, we're going to advance reforms that will allow Americans to see the cost of their care and have the power to make their own choices in healthcare providers, in physicians, in treatment, and in costs. There'll be more options and more information. And you know, just the way the free market works, healthcare providers are going to be more responsive when they're answering to patients' needs in a competitive marketplace. They're going to be a whole lot more responsive than they are to insurance companies and big government bureaucrats. And make no mistake about it, as we go through this transition, Donald Trump and I will protect Americans with pre-existing conditions so that they're not charged more or denied coverage just because they've been sick. As long as they paid their premiums consistently, they'll have the coverage they need and deserve. And we'll reverse Obamacare's federal takeover of the insurance market altogether. You know, we didn't see the type of rate increases across the nation when the states were running things. So, my friends, the truth of the matter is we're going to empower states once again to manage our health insurance industry and not Washington, D.C. You know, men and women of Pennsylvania, I can tell you the choice in this election couldn't be more clear. With Hillary Clinton, we'll get more of the same from the last 7.5 years. More taxes, more spending, more regulation, and more Obamacare. I mean, we can't trust Hillary Clinton with our health care any more than we can trust her with classified information. Obamacare, the debacle previously known as Hillary Care, was a government takeover of health care from the start, plain and simple. Some of us knew that. Now every American knows that. It upended the miracle of the marketplace. Competition was crushed and replaced with the heavy hand of government control. Obamacare is a catastrophic failure. Hillary Clinton says she wants to double down on that failure. But we still got time to turn this thing around. 7 days to be exact. Americans can choose a healthcare economy built on freedom, consumer choice, and free market principles. It's just going to take all of us to do it. You know, as I close, let me say it's been deeply humbling for me and for my family to find ourselves in this role. Campaigning with Donald Trump is an incredible experience. I mean, we pull into these rallies, tens of thousands of Americans who know we can make America great again, lining the streets and standing in long lines. But he always says the same thing to me when we're whisking by in that motorcade. He'll nudge me when he looks at the crowd, and he'll say, Mike, you know, this is not about me. This is not about us. It's not even about our party. He says, this is a movement of the American people, and the American people are going to make America great again. We can make America great again. We can make health care in America great again, but it's going to take all of us to do it. It's been inspiring to see that movement, independents across America who've been drawn to Donald Trump's call to break the gridlock in Washington, D.C. It's inspiring to see Democrats joining this movement who are tired of liberal policies flowing out of our nation's capital and trade deals that ship jobs overseas. But I would say specifically to some of my fellow Republicans out there that who believe we can have a healthcare system built on free market economy and consumer choice, we need to say with one voice, it's time to come home. It's time to come home and elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. It's time to come home and re-elect Republican majorities in the United States House of Representatives and the Senate. And it's time to come home to bring their 30-year obsession with government-run health care to an end by ensuring that Hillary Clinton is never elected president of the United States of America. So, ladies and gentlemen, with 1 week to go before a great victory for the American people, I give you the man with the vision, the agenda, the leadership necessary to restore freedom to our healthcare economy and make America great again. Join me in welcoming the next president of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to thank my incredible running mate, Governor Mike Pence. Thank you, and I love you too. We have a lot of very enthused and excited people in this campaign, so I really do thank all of you. I would like to thank my incredible running mate, Mike Pence, on the tremendous job he's done, and he's a fantastic leader and a leader on healthcare issues, and to have him involved is just my very great honor, believe me. I'd also like to thank Dr. Ben Carson. Not only a great man, and I don't say that about a lot of people, but one of the toughest competitors I've ever faced. People don't know how well he did during those primaries. And I just kept looking back, and I just kept seeing him. And boy, I'll tell you, but even more importantly, he is a brilliant physician. And I hope he will be very much involved with my administration in the coming years. Okay? Thank you. I'd also like to recognize the distinguished members of Congress in attendance who have all been at the forefront of health care and have been so helpful to me. Congresswomen Elmers, Loomis, Congressman Price Harris, Burgess, and Desjardins. And let me give a special thanks to Senator Barrasso, a terrific doctor, a Senate leader, who did incredible work chairing our platform committee. Just unbelievable work. So I want to thank you very much, Senator. Fantastic job. And been very, very loyal to what we're doing and what we represent. So thank you, Senator. When we win on November 8th, and elect a Republican Congress, we will be able to immediately repeal and replace Obamacare. Have to do it. I will ask Congress to convene a special session so we can repeal and replace. And it will be such an honor for me, for you, and for everybody in this country, because Obamacare has to be replaced. And we will do it, and we will do it very, very quickly. It is a catastrophe. The president said, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, which may go down as one of the great political lies of the century. Even the skeptical Democrats believed him and approved the legislation. There were Democrats that were very much against it, but they believed him and they approved it. No one ever read, or certainly very few people, the 2,700-page bill. To this day, nobody understands it. The Obama administration has just announced massive double-digit and triple-digit Obamacare premium hikes everywhere, all throughout the country. Here in Pennsylvania, premiums are going to increase more than 60%. And that's nothing compared to what will happen in the future. Of course, in the future, if I'm president, there won't be Obamacare, so you won't have to worry about it. That means parents won't have enough money to pay their bills or get medicine for their kids. In the great state of Arizona, a wonderful place I just left, premiums will go up even higher than 116%. Other states are going up more than 60, 70, 80, 90%. Deductibles can go to $12,000, $13,000, $14,000, even $15,000. In other words, your health care won't even be usable. You're paying all this money, you won't even get to use it. People all across the country are devastated. In many instances, their health care costs are more than their mortgage costs or their rent, which, by the way, is a first in American history. This is particularly unfair to millennials and younger Americans generally, who will be totally crushed by these massive health care costs before they even get started on their journey through life. 1/3 of the counties, think of this, 1/3 of the counties in Pennsylvania will have only a single insurance company left, if you have that. That includes Philadelphia, where I went to school. The Associated Press found that some of the 440,000 Pennsylvania consumers who buy insurance through healthcare.gov will face some of the highest premium increases in the nation. People of Philadelphia. Insurers are leaving, premiums are soaring, doctors are quitting, companies are fleeing, and deductibles go through the roof. Workers' hours are being cut, hiring is frozen, totally frozen, and wages are being slashed. Obamacare means higher prices, fewer choices, and lower quality. Yet Hillary Clinton wants to expand Obamacare and make it even more expensive. She wants to put the government totally in charge of health care in America. If we don't repeal and replace Obamacare, we will destroy American health care forever. It's one of the single most important reasons why we must win on November 8th. We must win. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Our replacement plan includes health savings accounts, a nationwide insurance market where you can purchase across state lines, and letting states manage Medicaid dollars. So much better. We will create quality, reliable, affordable health care in a free market where parents can make the health care decisions that they really want to make for their families. It will be a much better health care at a much less expensive cost. We've also outlined detailed solutions on so many other issues to make life better for every American family. And while this is really, thank you. While this is really a meeting, and that's what it is, it's a meeting of very, very special people, and I appreciate you all being here. But it's a meeting talking about health care and Obamacare. Our plan for other things also include the bringing back of manufacturing jobs. We have to do it. We're going to bring back our manufacturing. We're going to bring back our jobs that form the backbone of the American middle class and our country as a whole. Our jobs are being stolen. Pennsylvania has lost almost 40% of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, a deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported by Hillary Clinton. The city of Philadelphia has lost more than 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs since China joined the World Trade Organization, another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster. A Trump administration will renegotiate NAFTA, believe me. And we have the greatest negotiators in the world. We will use our great negotiators. We'll have a fair deal, but we'll have a deal that goes in two directions, not one direction, right into Mexico and these other places. And stand up to foreign product dumping, currency manipulation, and unfair subsidy behavior. We are going to bring manufacturing jobs, lots of jobs, back to Pennsylvania. We're going to do it, and it won't even be difficult. We're going to open modern mines and take care of our great miners. Our miners have been mistreated horribly. We will be producing clean coal, oil, natural gas, and shale energy. We're also bringing back our steel workers who have been so badly hurt, whose jobs have been stolen by the dumping of steel all over this state and, frankly, all over this country by China and other countries. Nobody has been treated worse than these workers, but that will change on January 20th of next year, believe me. It will change. We're also going to provide the children of the state with school choice, so important. That means parents can spend and take care of their children, but they can send their kids to public school, to private, to charter, to magnet, to religious, or to homeschool. It's going to be their right, and it's going to be something that's so, so good for your children and for the education of your children. We will also totally eliminate Common Core and bring education local. We're going to bring it local. Good. People do not like Common Core in this country, that I can tell you. And our system is failing, so it's obviously not working. We're going to eliminate Common Core. We're going to bring it local. Our tax plan will provide a 35% tax cut to middle-class families with 2 kids. As an example, you have 2 kids, 35% cut, so desperately needed. Our middle class has not been properly respected, that I can tell you. We will let parents deduct child care expenses from their taxes and create tax-free child care and elder care savings accounts with matching contributions for low-income families. We will eliminate the Obama-Clinton defense sequester and rebuild our badly depleted military. When did we ever need it more? Greatest people on earth in our military, but it's badly depleted. Thank you. People love this country, don't they? Isn't it beautiful, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch and to see, and I see it all over the country, no matter where we go. And every time I say we are going to rebuild our depleted military, it's always the same response. It's an incredible response. Our Navy is the smallest it's been since World War I. Think of that. Smallest since World War I. And rebuilding it will require a national effort. That's why I will ask my Secretary of the Navy to review facilities like the Philadelphia Navy Yard. I know it well. with a long history of service to our nation, proximity to vibrant private industry, and room for expansion to enlist them in the rebuilding of what will be a great fleet again. To recruit master craftsmen, this buildup requires, and we will establish, centers of excellence at locations like the Philadelphia Navy Yard. Vocational training is a great thing. We don't do it anymore. We don't do it anymore. And I must tell you, so often in going to college, right down the road, in going to college, we'd have people that were brilliant, and we'd had other people that weren't as brilliant in that way, but were brilliant, incredible, when it came to fixing a motor, when it came to fixing something that I had no idea what was happening, and other great geniuses had no idea what was happening, and they could take it apart blindfolded. And we don't do that anymore. Vocational training for our country is so, so, so important. And just in closing that, and they loved it. They loved it. They didn't want to be doing what I was doing. They loved it. They were so good at it, and they loved it. So vocational training, we're going to start it up big league. We will rebuild our military, and we will rebuild our country. I'm not a politician. My only special interest is you, the American people. That's why I've done it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. The guiding rule of the political class in Washington, D.C. is that they are looking out only for themselves, with the exception of these few people. I feel guilty as I'm looking, they're staring me in the eyes. So I have to say, with these exceptions. They will say anything and do anything and cling to their power and prestige at your expense. I'm running to change and reverse decades of failure and to work with the American people to create generations of success. I'm running. I'm running to restore honesty to our government and safety to our communities. We need safety. And by the way, our law enforcement officials, these are great, great people. Thank you. And we are going to give great prosperity to our economy. I want to go into our poorest communities and work on a national plan of revitalization, the inner cities. And I've been working with so many African-American groups. These are such incredible people. We've been talking about it, working on it. We're going to bring jobs into the inner cities. We're going to bring safety. We're going to bring education, good schools into the inner city. The spirit of the people in the inner cities is beyond the spirit of anybody. And it's going to work. It's going to work. You watch. Americans are tired of being told to defer their dreams to another day. But politicians, for the most part, really mean another decade, because that's what they're talking about. Enough waiting. Time is now. But to accomplish our goals, we must cut our ties with the small, bitter, petty politics of the past. We must declare our independence from a failed establishment that has squandered $6 trillion on foreign wars in the Middle East that never end, that we never win, and that have made us far less safe. Think of it. Think of all the money that's spent, all the lives that have been lost, and we're far less safe today than we were before we started. They've left our borders wide open at home, and shipped our jobs and wealth to other countries. It's time for new leadership. Thank you. I've led a great life, and I truly love our country. So now I want to give back to the country that's been so good to me. That's why I'm doing this. All I see everywhere I travel in this nation, and I've been everywhere, is untapped potential waiting to be realized. The people are amazing. The people are amazing. If we unlock the potential of this country and its incredible people, no dream is outside of our reach. If we stop believing in our failed politicians and start believing in ourselves, then anything is possible. I'm asking you to dream big, to push for bold change, and to believe in a movement powered by our love for each other and our love for our country. That is how we will truly make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Thank you.